Hey everyone, it's your girl Deb from Let's Get Real About Mental Health. Today, I thought in honor of it being Pride Month that we would talk about some reasons that okay, now y'all, I'm sorry if I miss a letter. I'm so sorry. LGTBQ God, I plus 2S. I think I got them all. I hope to gosh I got them all. Anyway, I thought that maybe we would talk about like why and where their mental health struggles come from. How come it's more prevalent in that community? And I'm not saying it's more prevalent, period. I'm just saying that when people are dealing with coming into their own and finding their own identity is definitely something that mental health issues do come up. So first and foremost, I really have to tell you that I'm going to say this right now out loud, and y'all please hear me when I tell you in the most sincerest voice I have and the most sincerest feelings in my heart. Being of this community, nothing about it is a mental health disorder. Nothing about it is a mental health disorder. Nothing. There's nothing wrong with you. There's no abnormally, I think that's probably the wrong word, going on in your brain that creates a situation or a disease that makes you gay, queer, bi, pan, poly, lesbian, trans. No, none of that is a mental health disorder. Okay. And I'll tell you what the thing that put me on to this idea for this stream is a couple of things. The first one being that I was looking up gender dysphoria. And I was shocked to see that it is still listed 2022 as a mental health disorder. Okay. So then I'm like, all right, let's educate. I'm going to educate myself. Okay. There are many causes. They're not sure what exactly the exact cause for gender dysphoria is. The number one thing that they think that happens is hormonal fluctuations in the prenatal environment. Hormonal fluctuations in the prenatal environment. Yeah, that says, you know exactly what that means, y'all. It means it's happening while the fetus is in utero. Has nothing, and I repeat, nothing to do with that baby's mental health once it's born. Nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it as a teenager, as an adult, none of it. Has nothing to do with it. I'm sorry, again, it just completely blew my mind that the year is 2022 and there are people who actually still believe that. Yes. You know what? Yeah. Okay. No. It's just like that's as bad as saying, y'all, that being gay, trans, queer, all of the people in the community, it's like saying, yes, I choose to be this way. Excuse me. I would like to sign myself up for as much ridicule, persecution, hatred, being kicked out of my own family, looked upon as less than I can handle in one lifetime. Yes, please sign me up for that. That's what I want. That is some of the most asinine thought processes I've ever come across in my entire life. It's absolutely asinine. So when we're talking about the community, we're talking about people who have, I have to, you know what? I got to make a little bit of a confession here, y'all. And I was just talking to a friend of mine about it. And, you know, they're like, don't feel bad about it, Deb. Everybody's done it. But I have to say, this community has been very kind to me. They've been very accepting of me. So I have to go on record and saying I have really explained some things away very callously, very cavalierly in my adult life. I've made jokes that were inappropriate. And I'm going to come clean. One of my, like, people would say, well, they're bisexual. I would be very flippant and I would say, well, doubles you're just greedy. You mean you're greedy because it doubles your chance for a date on a Saturday night. Now, looking back at it as a 52-year-old woman, I'm realizing how callous that was. My apologies, I'm still getting over this sickness thing. How disrespectful that actually would have been to the person that I was talking to. The other thing that I find, oh boy, hold on one second. I just got interrupted, so my thought process went away. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure what this person wants me to do. If he wants me to stop my stream and start all over again, or what he would like me to do. So until he tells me exactly what I need to do, I'm going to keep on talking. It's something that I've, gift of gab. So what I'm thinking is that, and more like, I've always been very upfront with, why does a person's sexual preference, their how they identify, all of that, why does that even have to be part of the conversation? Why do they feel necessary to say that as part of a conversation with me? Because I could give a rat's hiney, okay? The only thing I care about is people's happiness. And I thought about it for a while, and after talking to quite a few people, I was like, you know what? They're not saying that for your benefit, Deb. That's pretty self-centered of me. Because if I, as a human being, was told that loving someone of the same sex is wrong, it makes you a sinner. It makes you an abomination in the eyes of God. Or you were born a girl, that's the way you're going to stay, because God doesn't make any mistakes where gender is concerned. Why wouldn't I want to put out there so I don't have to be in the closet anymore with my feelings, my acceptance of myself? Why wouldn't I want to put it out there to every single person I meet? It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with the person saying enough. Enough of being in the closet. Enough of denying who I am. Enough of the bullshit. I'm going to truly be me. Now you're probably wondering, what the hell does this have to do with mental health? It has everything to do with mental health. And this is the reason why it has everything to do with mental health. What it is, because when you're pushed aside and you're made to feel like you are less than, like you are disappointing the people who are supposed to love you no matter what, your family. And then when you do get enough nerve up to come out and you can do that, then they shun you and they tell you to go away. That leads to depression, anxiety, trauma, unbelievable amounts of trauma, and low self-esteem. Those four are absolutely 100% mental health disorders or mental health issues. So let me clarify that statement again. Being of the community is in no way, any shape of it, is a mental health disorder. None of it. but the way that people deal with you or treat you because you are a member of this community and the feelings that they invoke in you because of the way they treat you is absolutely a mental health issue. It absolutely is a mental health issue. It's not anything that you on the inside are responsible for. Because we're going to attack that in a second. First off, God only has two genders. Did everybody hear that? People are saying God only assigns two genders. No, it's not God who does genders. It is science. It is biology. That is what assigns gender at birth. Does that mean mistakes can be made? Oh, yes, it does. Because science is in no way, shape, or form biology, in no shape or form is perfect. If it was absolutely 100% perfect, then we would never see a child, never, ever, ever, ever will we see a child that was born with both reproductive organs. Both male and female is what I mean by that. Both male and female. Okay? We would never see that. We would never see things like Down syndrome or any other type of chromosomal abnormality, because if it was perfect, it would never happen. We'd all be a bunch of blue-eyed, blonde-haired people just like Hitler wanted us to be, right? That's how asinine that comment is to me, is that God only makes two. It has nothing to do with God, y'all. Come on now. Come on. If it had to do with God, do you think anybody'd have a mental health disorder? Do you think anybody be born schizophrenic? Do you think anybody would be born different? No, it wouldn't be. It'd be freaking perfect. Life would be grand and nobody'd have to worry about anything. But when we're talking, okay, so let's go back to intersex. Intersex is part of the community that I am talking about right now. And if those of you who are just joining me, I'm doing some comments on, because it's Pride Month, how mental health disorders can become such a huge issue for people of the community. Again, I'm so sorry about the cough. The thing is that you have to understand, oh, now I lost my train of thought. God, I hate it when I do that, y'all. With intersex children, okay, the common practice place of medical professionals is, let's wait and see how they identify. Let me say that one more time. Let's wait and see how they identify. So, if we're willing to give intersex babies that option, how can it be any different for a child that is born in the wrong body? How is that any different whatsoever? It's not. Okay? It absolutely is not. Okay, and again, I am not transgender. I have quite a few friends who are transgender, but I'm going from what I've learned from them. So please, anybody in the chat, please correct me if I'm wrong. And I absolutely am here to be educated as well as putting this out there. When a child is born and they're born in the wrong gender or the wrong body. I'm sorry, not the wrong gender, the wrong body. If you talk to them, a large majority of them knew very young, that they were in the wrong body. They just feel wrong. They just feel off. Something is not right about their person. So why is it that people think that allowing your child who has expressed that they are transgender and want to go through the process of puberty blockers and taking the needed hormone. Why is that any different? Why would we not give them the opportunity, y'all? What that gives a child, what that says to a child that says, no, you're not old enough to make your own decisions. You're not old enough to know your own body. What does that do to that child? It creates a feeling of being undervalued. It creates a feeling of what I say is not good enough. My parents, who are supposed to love and protect me, are not willing to listen to me. Now, I'm not saying all parents are like that, y'all. Okay, I'm not. But what I'm saying is that is what the mental health issues that it's going to create in this child. Because it's bad enough to feel like you are in the wrong body. Okay, that in itself creates a huge amount of mental health disorders like depression, anxiety. Now you tell your family this is not right, and I don't feel this way, and I'm not right. I am a boy. I'm not a girl. I'm a boy. Now I'm going to have low self-esteem because you didn't give me puberty blockers on time, and now I have breasts. I'm menstruating. Could we put that poor child in a more vulnerable or vulnerable and more traumatic situation if we wanted, if you tried? I honestly don't think that you could, because because you're taking what they are, and you're telling them that, you have to go through this, even though you're telling me, I don't feel right, this is not right, this is not who I am, mom and dad. You're absolutely making them go through changes to affirm. Let me say that one more time. To affirm the wrong gender. To affirm. Because if I'm a man born in a woman's body, what do I want? I want to have breasts. I don't know why any woman would want to do it, but they want to have a period. They want to be as much of a woman as they can. So why would we not give them puberty blockers and allow them to have gender reassignment surgery as soon as freaking possible? Because if my son comes to me and says, I'm not a boy, mom, I'm a girl. Or I'm not a girl. Oh, let me try that again. My son comes to me and says, I know I was born a girl, but I'm not a girl. I don't feel that way. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't want it. Why then would you make them go through all of that crap? Why not get them on puberty blockers and then allow them the time that they need to make a decision, a fully educated, fully therapied decision? Because I got news for all of you. Children are not stupid. They're not stupid. Y'all know this. We all know this. Children are not stupid. They know in their heart of hearts. Okay? They absolutely know it. And by doing that, by allowing them that, research has indicated that by the age of 14, that's 14, not 18, 14, most people who are saying they're transgender have made their absolute firm decision on whether or not they want to undergo hormonal replacements and gender reassignment, or if they're okay going back to what they were or what they were born. 14, y'all, 14. Do you know that the average age of puberty for a girl is between 10 and 11, and for a boy it's 12 and 13? That's just a couple years. And we absolutely 100% get rid of all the bullshit mental health disorders that can come along with denying who you are, not feeling good enough. And y'all, People wonder why people allow them, not allow, that's a bad word. I did not say that. When people get into abusive relationships, they are beaten down so hard and told that they are no value and they have such low self-esteem that they stay and they take the crap. What do you think we're doing? What kind of message do you think we're sending to our transgender youth? I don't value you, what you're thinking. I'm not giving you any merit. I'm not listening to you. And you're doing the exact same thing that an abusive relationship does to an adult. Why would you set your children up for that? Why? Because having mental health disorders is hard enough on a teenager. It's hard enough on an adult, let alone let's put someone who is having trans issues and we're going to give more mental health disorders because, not feeling right and feeling you're in the wrong body doesn't give you enough issues as it is, right? It just doesn't. So research has suggested, and I believe it's, University of California, San Francisco, that has the cutting edge gender clinics. I'm not sure if I'm calling that correctly, but they've even now branched off and now have 2 satellite clinics where they're helping people deal with these issues. Their recommended course of study, well, number 1 is therapy. Get into therapy. Start talking. Because if you can talk it out and you have someone who's going to listen to you and not be judgy or have a, let's say, for lack of better words, have a dog in the game, you have to start the therapy. And then you guys, parents out there, the next thing that they actually suggest doing is they suggest puberty blockers. Suggest it for a couple of years to allow for the child to mature more and to get the therapy that is recommended so they can make a well-informed decision. That is what's important, okay? That's what's important when we're talking about allowing our child to be how they are. So some of the other stuff that I've kind of been, now that I went off on that tirade because I feel fairly strong about it. I really do. I'm sure all of you that know me are like, yeah, I know she does. Oh, hey, I just saw my girl Ryan in here. She's a longtime friend. I think we've known each other like 25, 30 years. Oh, my cousin Emery is in here. Hi, Emery. The thing is that if you wait for puberty blockers and you don't give them puberty blockers and you're like, I'll just go through puberty and you can decide when you're 18. Excuse? Yeah, now we have a whole nother set of problems, and that would be that we have now allowed that child, or that child has developed as, say, a woman. Could that child possibly hate their bodies more than what they do in that moment? Because it's not right. It's not how they feel. But as a parent, you force them to go through that because you don't know. I'm sorry, I'm just reading. I'm reading a comment from Uncle Beck. It says that HRT therapy is slower and the effects are not as great. I believe what he means is the later you wait. And if I'm not right, Beck, please let me know. Because now we've set up a whole nother set of mental health issues. Because I hate myself. I hate everything about myself. Because I wasn't listened to and I wasn't given what I needed, which was therapy and options. Okay, therapy and options. Now, when we're talking about, there's an issue that needs to be addressed is that not all transgender people knew from a young age, or should I say, transitioning wasn't an option at a young age. I was recently very I believe, blessed to be introduced to someone that is 67 years old and they've transitioned. Well, they told me, I knew, but there was no way to transition back then. It wasn't something that was talked about. Okay. This is your identity as a person. And it's kind of like, okay, so Beck just clarified that comment that I made earlier. So with HRT, you're basically forcing your body through another puberty. Really, y'all? Like puberty didn't suck enough the first time? Who the hell would by choice be like, please sign me up for another one? Let me, get acne again, and let me, like be emotional as fuck if you're taking, you're putting more estrogen in your body. And from those of you who are trans, female to male, and you've told me you introduce that testosterone, you want to get busy with everybody. It don't really matter what or who. It's like everybody. I want to be a part of that. So that's like, you see those massive changes that you're forcing on a person who's already got issues because they weren't born in the right body. They weren't born in the right body. So, and then I started talking with another friend of mine, Sadie, and she really brought up a really good point that I had not even thought about. And it's concerning people who are asexual. People who are asexual really they don't need sex to be fulfilled. I'm assuming, and please somebody correct me if I'm wrong, they don't have that desire to have that intercourse with another person. And it's not there for them. Okay. So if we start talking about puberty for them. Hello, Math Pig. Puberty for them. Can you imagine how awful that would be? I'm going to be a teenage boy. Now, y'all, teenage boys, they're a little piggy, little bit of pigs, talking about this girl, that girl, how far did I get? Did you feel her boobs? Well, it'd be more graphic than that. Did you get up her skirt? Da, 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 da. Can you imagine being asexual and having to lie that you feel these things? It's hard enough to be a teenager. It's hard enough to go through everything that puberty puts us through. But now I got to lie about feeling that way. Same thing for our gay youth. Oh, yeah. Oh, God, look at that ass on that chick. And you're like thinking in the back of your head, fuck, I'd rather look at your ass than hers. Again, it creates the stress and the trauma of having to hide who you are, thus creating depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, because you're not normal. Oh, Miss Ryan, you are absolutely 100% welcome. She's one of my oldest and dearest friends. I would do this 100 times over, honey. Anyway, so like what I was saying was like, when we start dealing with that, why, having other people, again, the asexual people, like, how, and y'all, boys are piggies. Girls, we are some catty mother effers. We are awful. Okay? And the first thing that a girl's going to do is tease another girl about the way she behaves herself or conducts herself. Why aren't you all interested in that boy? Isn't he fine? I can't, God, it makes me nauseous just thinking about it. But that's the way it is when you're a teenager. I'm sure you all remember. But the thing is that, again, they're having to hide, but they're having to hide one more. You can't just say, well, I'm not thinking about his butt. I'm thinking about her butt. You have to lie about thinking about it at all. You have to lie about thinking, oh, that's something I want. No, it's not something I want. And, how strange does that make you feel? How unaccepted does that make you feel? There we go again. low self-esteem, anxiety, because God forbid you say the wrong damn thing to the wrong damn person. Depression, because you're different than everybody else. And there was another one, but I can't remember what. Oh, and then of course the trauma of just being different than everybody else. And it's traumatic. It's absolutely traumatic when you're a child. So one of the other reasons that I decided to do this show, well, we all know why I started doing the show, period. I wanted to really take the stigma out of mental health. And being that it's Pride Month, I really have been trying to embrace that side of me. And as many of you know that were watching my show last week. I'm sorry. I only do it once a week. I knew that. That I did it last week. I came out to everybody that was on the channel as pansexual. Now, I did not know what pansexual was until I started educating myself. So being pansexual, for me, it just is to the realization that I can never base my love for another individual purely on what they do and don't have. I just couldn't. And with that, I have discovered something. Do I come out and do I talk to my children about it? Part of me says no, because they don't need to know shit about mom's sex life or mom's sexual preferences or whatever the case may be. But then again, yes, because I want them to know that at 52 years old, I'm finally recognizing and having my true self. So I was talking again with a friend of mine about how upset I was about it because all these awful feelings were coming up in me. And you guys know that I suffer from a variety of mental health disorders. But when thinking about coming out to my family, and it's been like a hot second, no time whatsoever, compared to what most people of the community, of this community, have had to deal with. So I'm by no means trying to compare my feelings to what everyone else has gone through, but I think that it helped me understand a lot more because I started having panic attacks. Panic attacks about telling my grown children. Panic attacks. And I'm getting nauseous. And I'm feeling like I am less than. And that I want to cry. Because I have a hard enough time with some of my in-laws as it is. I can't imagine what they're going to say if they ever find this out. So I had this conversation with a friend of mine, and they knew immediately. Uncle Beck asks, how do my kids identify? My daughter is what she calls bi-curious, but my two boys are straight, as far as I know. I mean, that's something that's actually an open conversation in our house. So I guess I should take that as a lesson for myself. Anyway, I started feeling these awful feelings. And I get on and I'm talking to somebody about it before I come in here and decide if I'm going to bare my heart yet again, because y'all have seen me cry enough already on this channel. And I realized something. Number one, the first thing I realized is how is anyone who is part of this fantastic and fabulous community not have a mental health disorder with dealing with all the bullshit that y'all have had to deal with most of your lives, if not all your lives? How? Number two, I think that I have absolutely 100% realized that the justice or the raising I gave my children were raised with a theist mom, and they're all three atheists because I encouraged their ability to be free thinkers. By encouraging them to be free thinkers, I encourage them to be accepting and loving, especially towards yourself. Because there's only one person in the world that can love you more than your mama, and that's the way you need to love yourself. Okay? That's just straight up truth. The thing that I struggled with is this, is that when I came out to my kids about being polyamorous, they were kind of like, what the F? And I read her comment and she says, I don't like the term pansexual for myself, partly because it associates with cookware. And I recently came up with open sexual. That actually that is a very good point. I never thought about that at all. Okay, you gave me a good giggle where I was about ready to start crying a little bit there. When I came out as polyamorous with my kids, they were like, what exactly does that mean? And, and I said, it is that within my marriage, we recognize that there are other needs and maybe other people that we were meant to love. And it's okay, as long as we follow the guidelines in our marriage, that we follow those instincts and those feelings and all of that. So to them, that was really freaking weird. Really weird. But the more I think about it, and the more I know my lovely liberal children, I will know. I do know what they're going to say. They're going to say, all right, whatever, Mom. You don't need to tell us that. So, or maybe I'll get so tell me about her. Tell me about him, whatever the case may be. But the reason I bring that whole thing up is that for the last 5 days that I've been thinking about this, my mental health has taken a complete drop into the toilet because I've been so consumed and worried about finding acceptance again. Yeah. Having the people that love me still love me. Having the people who are my friends not look at me any different. And what that made me realize is, again, I'm going to say it one more time. How is it that anyone in this community doesn't have a mental health issue is beyond me. It is absolutely beyond me. In fact, that was really sweet. See, he's going to make me cry. He says, we love and accept you right here. I am proud, very, very proud to call myself an ally of this community. I'm very proud to do whatever I can to be an ally of this community. If there was something I could do to fix how crappy the world is to this community, I would do it in a heartbeat. I really would. But I can't. But what I can do is this, is that I can make the world a little bit of a better place, my block at a time. And I can come on to shows like my show, and I can say loud and proud that I'm an ally to this community. And I understand some of the feelings you're going through. and I will help you in any way I can. So what I'm asking, I guess, at this point, before I get too sentimental and cry even more, is that I want you guys to be that one person that you wished for your entire childhood. That one person who would have looked at you and gone, it's okay to be you. Whatever you is okay with us. We love you. Doesn't matter anything else. We love you. So that's what I'd like to put out a challenge. I'd like you guys to all go out and try to be that one person for that one kid and make a difference in their lives. Now, the majority of you already do that just by simply living your lives, by leading by example. You're showing kids that you can be who you are and be accepted and loved. Those of you who are older, 50s, 60s, 70s. Okay, I can say 50s because I'm 52. And you're coming into your true self right now, hats off. And I absolutely 100% applaud you for having the strength and the mental strength to do what you need to do for yourself, because it's not an easy journey. Okay, now that I've completely gone a complete and total tirade about this whole thing, probably to people who didn't really need to hear my tirade, but again, the one main point that I want to drive home is what I said in the very beginning. No one who identifies as, I hope I got this right. I mess it up every time you go. So LGBTQOI2S plus maybe? No, plus 2S. I think I might have got it in that time. Maybe not. But I apologize. No one of this community is the way that they are because they are mentally ill. No one. No one. And I'd venture to say that if somebody accuses you of that, they're probably mentally ill, not you. Guaranteed they're mentally ill, not you. But being a member of this community absolutely does cause mental illness issues, and not because of the way you are, but because of the way that you're treated, because of the things that you are forced to do to be included in your normal everyday life. With that being said, y'all, I actually am going to let you know that I'm going to be doing a little bit of change here. I'm going to be streaming now on Mondays at 7 p.m. And the reason being is I am getting a lot of people who are not being able to see my show, and they're over watching a couple other streams. And I am nowhere near big enough or in the right wheelhouse to be able to compete with them. So I think that would be the best thing for me to do. Please, again, I'm going to start having guests on. I believe we're going to go ahead and start that in July. And any questions you guys have, you guys know how to get a hold of me. Please get a hold of me. Let me know. Any questions, any comments, any concerns, anything you want to talk about something, you let me know, and I will be happy to talk about those things with you guys. And again, I have to say that I am not, yes, and I'd like to welcome Uncle back on board, as he is now my producer. I feel like I've arrived. I have a producer, y'all. Okay, how to get a hold of me. My Facebook is it's Deborah Nichols, DeborAh Nichols, Nichols. That's my Facebook. Twitter, you guys, I'm really not on Twitter because I find it to be an incredibly toxic environment, and it is not good for my mental health. So I tend to stay off of it. But I will, if you get a hold of, I'm trying to figure out how to do this without letting everybody and their brother know about it. Well, I'm just going to ask, hey, Beck, what's the best way for them to get a hold of me, do you think? Is it, yeah, I am on Discord. I just can't remember. I think it's under Debbie Sue, DEBBISUE 70. Is the best way for them to get a hold of me, Beck? Do you think it's Discord, Facebook, my phone number? I don't care. I'll do whatever. I'll do whatever. If y'all need my phone number because you want to talk to me, I'll give you my phone number. Okay. You want my email? I'll give you my email. Whatever the case may be, I will do whatever I can. Because I am an open book when it comes to this subject. I love to talk about it and I love to educate people. So yeah, okay, I was right. My Discord is Debbie Sue. And I'm just going to go ahead and post my email right here. Hopefully it comes up. If you are going to email me, you need to put something so I will not think you are spam or something. If you could just put, sorry. Yes, I did. I did offer my phone number. You can go ahead. If you're going to email me, you please put something there that just makes reference to Let's Get Real About Mental Health, so I know to pay particular attention to that, so that I won't miss you. Okay, so here's my email. Hopefully I did that right. If I didn't, there you go. So y'all, if you have any questions, and I'd also like to know if y'all would like to do, after the thing is over, if you guys would just like to hang out and talk about it after my shows, and just really get some more chatter going about different things, and so I can really really get some feedback on what's going on. If you would like to have that happen, please, again, just let me know. The only time that's not going to happen is like on Fridays, because I'm true blue to student Dr. Ben's trivia nights. But again, if that's something you guys would like to see when I go to Monday nights, I'll be happy to do that. And if you let me or my producer, what the hell does that mean, Beck? Beck just, never mind. I'm not even going to ask because I'll sound foolish. It says MOD me. I don't know what that means, Beck. But anyway, if you'd like to see like kind of like an after party type thing, I guess, or just a general chat where we can do something like that, I would be happy to do it. I just need to know like what the interest is. I don't want to assume. So, and on that note, I am going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm going to drink a little more heavily tonight and talk to some people about how everything went. And again, please hit me up with any ideas, any, okay, we're gonna have to talk about that. I don't know what that means. I understand what you're saying. You want me to make you a moderator, but how do I do that? Just click what? Oh, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna get off of here before I make a bigger fool of myself. All right. As always, I love you guys, and be kind to yourselves in all things, because the way you are is just perfect. See y'all later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.